Good morning, I'm Julia. I'm a herpetologist here at the Houston Zoo. And today we're in the reptile house on this lovely chilly day. We're going to talk about our rattlesnake friends here, the western diamondbacks. So these guys we're celebrating today due to Rattlesnake Appreciation Day. And so these guys are super common here in Texas, and they're one of the largest snakes in Texas, and they're pretty well defined by their lovely little diamond-like patterns on their backs and the kind of tiger striping closer to the tail. They're super common to see. They definitely are widespread all across Texas. So here at the Houston Zoo, we make sure everybody gets treated equally. Everybody, whether they're venomous or not, gets seen by the vets once a year. They are all cared for the same. As you can see, their exhibits are all made to represent the habitat they kind of come from here. So as you can see, our western diamondbacks come from a more kind of arid environment with the kind of rocky crevices that are good for them to hide in, as well as kind of more of the drier plants. The rattlesnakes here, we feed them mice and rats, as well as occasionally we give them quail, as well as chicks. So we have two rattlesnakes here on exhibit, so they cohabit fairly well together. On exhibit, we don't have troubles with them at all. If we are feeding them, we do separate them just to make sure everybody's eating their food and it doesn't get stolen by another snake. Here in Texas, there are about 9 to 10 species of rattlesnakes across Texas as a whole. My favorite thing about working with the snakes is kind of making everyone else aware and talking to guests who maybe don't love rattlesnakes or other venomous snakes, or just snakes in general, and kind of building that empathy with them, trying to convince them that these guys aren't so bad and they're actually really great and they're super helpful. So one of the reasons we should all love rattlesnakes as well as any other snakes is they're great pest control. So when farmers have snakes around, they're less likely to get diseases and other such things from things like rats, because they're snakes eating the rats, preventing disease from spreading. So these guys are super helpful for the environment in those ways. Rattlesnakes aren't super dangerous either. A lot of misconceptions are that rattlesnakes kind of want to hurt you, and that's not just the case. So as you can see, they're both calmly sitting right here. A lot of times rattlesnakes, if they don't feel threatened or they don't think that someone has seen them, a lot of times they sit very calmly, very quietly, until they think that you've seen them, and that's when they'll begin to rattle. Just gives a warning of like, hey, I'm here, don't step on me. Just a little warning to back away. So if you ever come across a rattlesnake and it does rattle at you, the best thing you could do is kind of walk away and they'll be gone before you know it. So as you can see, it is winter here in Texas, and so we've been going through quite the cold snaps this last week. So as a way to keep everybody nice and toasty is obviously our building is monitored. During our last winter, this past weekend with the ice storm that kind of came through here, we had a generator in the back just as a precaution to make sure if we did lose power, we could turn it on real quick, make sure these guys stay nice and toasty, as these guys typically are susceptible to getting sick when it's cold. A lot of our guys outside the zoo as well, like our Komodo dragons, Galapagos tortoises, were all put back inside, and they all have their own little heaters. So throughout the ride out, every day, in the morning and the evening, we go out, make sure their heaters are staying on, working appropriately, taking temperatures throughout the day and kind of recording it to make sure that everyone's doing all right, everyone's making it through the storm. With reptiles being ectotherms, they are super susceptible to large temperature changes, so we try to make sure everybody's nice and cozy and having consistent temperatures because we don't want anyone getting sick. To also celebrate our rattlesnakes, come by on February 7th for the snake saving campaign that our zoo crew teens put on every year. So it'll be a fun activity this Saturday. So there'll be several games in front of the reptile house and in the reptile house. And there'll be lots of cool things going on, lots of keeper chats. There'll be several feedings, including these guys here. The Western Diamondbacks will be feeding kind of later in that day. So we'll have a whole schedule put out. So as you come into the zoo, there will be a table with a schedule of all the events kind of going on. So whether it's games or just general keeper chats with feedings in the reptile house, it's going to be a good event, a super fun event. So what's new at the reptile house? We just put on some tiger salamanders. We also have our timber rattlesnake on exhibit as well. And just some general renovations of moving some guys around and updating enclosures as well, that you'll have to look forward to when coming to the reptile house next.
What's inside the rattle?
So the rattles are actually hollow. And so the way they're attached, they're singular little pieces that you can kind of see on the tail are called buttons. And so when they rattle it, they just kind of clink into one another. So there's nothing actually in the rattle itself. It's how the rattle's kind of made. So as they shake it, you get that kind of rattle sound. Rattlesnakes are really fast with their tails, making that rattle sound as well. So how do snakes save the environment? It's kind of like I said earlier, it's just a little bit of pest control. So when you have an area where there's lots of rodents, you're more susceptible to disease as the animal's eating the rodents and then kind of just passing it through that way. But it kind of stops at rodents if the snakes eat it, there's less likely a chance of spread of disease, as well as just maintaining other controls of animals. So like smaller mammals, some snakes do eat lizards or even other snakes. So our king cobra partner, Murthy, talks about how king cobras eat other snakes. So they eat some of the other snakes to keep those populations in check, to make sure those aren't hurting the people around them and stuff like that. So our Murthy, our king cobra partner, who does a lot of work out in India to help conserve king cobras out there. He does a lot of work with king cobras and spreading knowledge. So a lot of the times in India, the more problematic snakes that tend to wander into areas where there's high densities of people are a lot of the times the snakes that the king cobra will eat. So kind of spreading the awareness of, hey, these are good snakes and they're providing a service of maintaining populations of these other more dangerous snakes that kind of come into the area a little more often. And so he's been doing some really good work out there. He's gotten some really good feedback from his community, and they really enjoy all the work he's doing out there as well. We love when he comes to town and we get to hang out with him as well. The Houston Zoo has, I believe, 7 or 8 species of rattlesnake total, which you can see here at the Houston Zoo. We have our Western Diamondbacks, which are native here to Texas, as well as our timber rattlesnake, which is also native to the kind of northeast. We also have sidewinders, native to North America, but not Texas. We also have Arubas, our Catalina Island rattlesnakes. We have the white specks as well. So we have several different species of rattlesnake here to celebrate on Rattlesnake Awareness Appreciation Day.
What should people do if they see one in the wild?
If you see a rattlesnake in the wild, the best thing you could do is kind of leave it alone. Don't bother it. You're more likely to get hurt by trying to remove it or move it somewhere else, or hurting it in any way, the best thing you can do for both yourself and the rattlesnake is to kind of walk away, give the snake some time, and the snake will move on to another location, and everyone will be nice and safe. Okay, so glad you guys could join us here on Rattlesnake Appreciation Day. Come to the zoo and keep warm here in our reptile house where it's nice and toasty. And every time you visit the zoo, you're helping save animals in the wild.